Okay everybody, welcome to this next video. This is part 2 of my Led Zeppelin collection. If you have not seen part 1, where I went over all of my live cassette recordings, CD bootlegs, and videos, go and check out part 1. The link will be in the description box below. This will be part 2. This video we're going to talk about vinyl in general. A lot of the vinyl that I'm going to show you, a lot of it is commercially available. You can buy it on Amazon, you can buy it all over the internet. Nothing really too special with the exception of a few pieces, but I want to show it to you anyway because I think these things are kind of cool and stuff to have, and I'll try to give you some information about each piece. So the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at some 45s. So I have a handful of 45s that are still sealed here, and I'll try to get this and again zoom in the best I can. So this is an American pressing of Atlantic Records pressing of 45. This is a Black Dog. And on the flip side, the B-side was Misty Mountain Hop. I keep all the 45s in like these little seal protective things that are all sealed up. These records have never been played. They were purchased probably back in I think right around the late 90s, maybe 97 to 99, somewhere in there. I purchased a lot of vinyl when CDs were becoming really popular and people were kind of throwing away their vinyl back then. Now vinyl's making kind of a resurgence today in year 2018, 2019. But back in the late 90s, people were getting rid of vinyl because it was just clunky and expensive and hard to take care of and maintain. And people were going to CDs, and then we started to see digital audio, MP3s, WAV files, and those sorts of things. So I went into a local record store in New Haven, Connecticut, called Cutler's Music, which is no longer there, and I bought up every piece of Led Zeppelin vinyl that they had, all the commercial releases, and I wanted to buy them sealed, and I wanted to save them for collectability reasons, and this is one of them, this 45 here. So again, Black Dog, Misty Mountain Hop. The next one that I have here, this is from The Firm. This is the Radioactive, the single. This was an import. Again, Cutler's Music sticker on here. Again, purchased this. This is only $3. They were giving this stuff away back in the late 90s. You could buy 45s for $2 or $3. You could buy LPs for $6 or $7. And so here is The Firm, Radioactive, and Together was the B-side to that. This is the band Jimmy Page formed with Bad Company's lead singer Paul Rodgers, Chris Slade on drums. And the bass player name escapes me, but I'm sure someone will leave it in the comments below. Then we have another Zeppelin 45. This is on the Swan Song label. So I can zoom in a little closer. Here's there's the Led Zeppelin Swan Song label that they created in the late 70s to have their own record label, who in fact signed Bad Company. I think was one of the first bands they actually signed, which is kind of how Paul Rodgers and Jimmy Page kind of hooked up, which later went on to do The Firm in the 1983-84. Anyway, this is Hot Dog, off Into the Outdoor, and Fool in the Rain, which was one of their more radio popular songs in the late 70s. Again, everything's still sealed here. This one is another one of just a regular old USA pressing from Led Zeppelin 1, Communication Breakdown, and Good Times, Bad Times. This one, again, just a standard old USA release. This over here. This is Whole Lotta Love, and Living, Loving, Made, which was the B-side to that. And I'm not going to take them out of they're all sealed, and I don't want to take them out of the jackets, but again, all of the jackets, they're all in pristine condition. This is, again, part of the Atlantic Oldies series, which is kind of funny. This is Royal Orleans from the Presence album, and Candy Store Rock. Again, this is kind of cool, the red kind of jacket. Again, the Atlantic Records Oldies series, again, on the Swan Song label. Got a few more here. This is, again, off the Swan Song label. This is Black Country Woman off of Physical Graffiti, and Trampled Underfoot from Physical Graffiti. Back to the regular paper sleeve here, we have the Immigrant Song from Led Zeppelin 3, and Hey Hey What Can I Do from Led Zeppelin. Well, actually, Hey Hey What Can I Do was not on an album. When the original albums came out, it was a song that never made it. Later on, it went on some of the remastered box sets and those types of things. But at the time, Hey Hey What Can I Do was not on Led Zeppelin 3. This was like an added song when they did the 45, which is kind of cool. Let's see, then we have from the fourth album, we have Rock and Roll. And we have Four Sticks. Let's see, then we have off of Houses of the Holy, D'yer Mak'er. Some people pronounce that a little differently. And The Crunge, which is really kind of a James Brown, kind of a funky vibe, which I really like that song. The Crunge is one of my favorite songs. And then let's see, got one more here. We have from Houses of the Holy again, Over the Hills and Far Away. And Dancing Days, another great tune off of Houses of the Holy. So those are my 45s. Again, nothing special, nothing really rare, all USA pressings. There are so many Led Zeppelin 45s out in the collector's market from all different parts of the world, and pictures, artwork, sleeves and stuff. And some of that stuff can get real expensive. I never really, at the time that I bought these, I was just trying to get all the USA releases in sealed, never used condition, because like I said, they were throwing away the vinyl in those days. I never went out and really aspired to collect lots of 45s. Pretty much not. Some of them get really expensive. It just wasn't something I was into. So those are my 45s. Now we'll go on to the single vinyl. And again, a lot of the single vinyl stuff is all, commercially released with the exception of a handful. Some of them have some unique things about them, which I'll tell you about. But just to show you what I kind of have, a lot of you have probably the same albums in your collection. The first one here, and I'll back off the camera here, is the Honey Drippers, Robert Plant's first solo kind of endeavor after Led Zeppelin. This was not one of my favorite records, but pretty cool to have nevertheless. Again, this was a used record. It's got a crease up here at the top. It's not in the most mint condition, but it's in very, very good condition for an album that's this old. And here is the back side. The hit off of this was Sea of Love, which was the hit. I can appreciate this record more now that I'm older, but that's a cool record. Push this off here. The next one is, I'm going to try to go in somewhat of an order where we're not looking at bootlegs quite yet. This is a recent album for me that I purchased used. This is The Firm's Mean Business. Again, part of my, since I've gotten back into vinyl over the last couple of years, and I mentioned this in my studio tour video, my goal wasn't to just have all the vinyl out there. My goal was to have really great copies, near mint or mint condition copies of original pressings of a lot of these things, and that's what this is an example of. This is almost a dead mint condition record by The Firm, the second album by The Firm. Again, it's in the clear plastic covering. It's never even been taken out. It's completely sealed, in really good condition. But I've listened to this before, and so here we go. We also have The Firm's first album. This is one with the hit Radioactive on it. Hopefully you can see that okay. Again, with the exception of a little bit of wear here, which you might be able to see. Other than that, it's in pretty darn near mint condition. Little bit of ring wear on the back, just a little bit. Again, to find that you could find this, I would assume now that they have these where they reprint them on the big heavy 180 gram or 200 gram vinyl, and you could get a dead mint one. But this is the original pressing. Again, my goal was to get the pressing from the time, the original pressings of these, and to get them in as good condition as possible. So there's a little bit of ring wear here, but other than that, I would say this is an excellent copy. Again, I'm not a professional vinyl grader. And all of and just to show you, and I'll only show you on maybe one or two, but all of the vinyl that I get, I have a professional record cleaning machine. I clean all my records, and I put everything in these rice paper, static free, to keep the records from scratching, plastic sleeve, and then if it had original liner notes or the original liner that was with a photo and lyrics or information on the band, I know you can't see this with the glare because it's white, I save that as well. So I'm also looking for not only a great copy of the vinyl and of the jacket, but also any of the liner notes. So all of my records are put in those protective sleeves, and I save the internal liner notes where appropriate. So that's The Firm's first record. Again, I probably could find, and even to find a copy in this condition, today's value, they're somewhere between maybe $15 and $30, depending on who you buy it from. So they're not terribly expensive, but compared to, like I said, in the 90s, where you could have got this, in the 90s, you could have got this record for $6. in perfect condition. But now vinyl seems to be having a resurgence, and this stuff's becoming more collectible, and a lot of newer, younger people, you know, in their 20s are getting into vinyl, and I think that's just so awesome. Here is the Jimmy Page Outrider album from 1987 or 88. Again, original pressing. I would say, again, in excellent plus condition. I wouldn't say dead mint, but excellent plus condition. This had a hit on it called Wasting My Time was the big hit on this one. And this is with Jason Bonham, was on this album with Jimmy Page and also toured with Jimmy Page on the Geffen Records label. Again, really, really clean copy. Then I have, this is a new acquirement for me, but I think this is really cool. I love this tour and this compilation. This is the Jimmy Page and Black Crowes Live at the Greek Theater. If you don't own this or have not listened to this, it came out on CD. It sounds phenomenal. You talk about playing all the classic hits, real true to the original versions. The Black Crowes and Chris Robinson in general did an amazing job on this. This is a fairly expensive record. Again, it's on the heavy vinyl. You know, I think it's on 180 gram vinyl. But what's really cool about this one, I can show you, is this is all here. You got a nice gatefold here. Again, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to put in the frame of the lens here, but you know, really cool pictures here. Really, really cool is that this is all on white colored vinyl. And again, I got everything in the static free, but in white vinyl, which again, with the glare from the lights and on a white background, I don't know how well you can see that. But this is really good, and it sounds really great. I love this concert. I also have a couple of, which I didn't show you in the last video, I failed to mention, I have a couple of videos of this show, bootleg videos, real good quality stuff, shot from the audience by the company Third Eye Productions, as I mentioned in the last video, but with soundboard audio. And the concert itself is awesome. And again, this completely opens up too. It's got two sides to it as far as the gatefold goes. What a lot of people don't realize is on this, which is an interesting little fun fact, again, I think this is, I'm pretty sure this is true. Let me put this back in its jacket, is that when they play on this album, when you look at the track listing, it is mostly Led Zeppelin tunes and some other songs like Mellow Down Easy and Oh Well, things that were not the Black Crowes original music. But when they played live, there were a lot of Black Crowes songs in the set, and a lot of people don't realize the reason why it's not on the recording is because at the time, the record label for the Black Crowes and the record label for Jimmy Page, where all the Led Zeppelin stuff, were two different labels, and the Black Crowes label, and I don't know the name offhand, didn't give permission to use the Black Crowes songs, if you could believe that. So that's why you see mostly Zeppelin tunes and some, like I said, old blues numbers, which is great. I mean, although in the video that I have, the bootleg, they did Remedy, Hard to Handle, all the big hits. So I would say 5 or 6 of the biggest hits by the Black Crowes at that time they had done, but it never made the recording, and it's not on the album either, but it's on the bootleg video. But this is a really fun record if you like the Black Crowes, if you like Zeppelin, you like old blues rock, great album. The next album I have here, this is from the reuniting of Jimmy Page and Robert Plant in 1995. This is the No Quarter album. Again, at that time it was $11, $12. Now it's much more expensive than that. This is sealed, never been opened. And actually, I paid actually $19.95 for this, but you had an $11 sticker on it at one time. It's still sealed, never been opened. A couple of the corners are a little bit starting to crease a little bit, but it's a perfectly sealed record. So this is good. I have the CD of this, so I've heard it. I just never opened up the LP. Let's not look at the bootlegs quite yet. We have a few more things to show you. Okay, so now again, as I said, at Cutler Records back in the 90s, I went out and bought all these 45s I just showed you. I also bought every Led Zeppelin album that they had, still sealed, never been opened. This is the Super Saver series. Again, this is probably from the late 90s is when I bought this, brand new on the shelf. Put it in the clear sleeve, never opened the record, Zeppelin 1. Again, it's not a rare pressing. It's not some, rare, low-numbered pressings or audio files or anything. It's just what you could have bought in the 90s completely sealed. Now, since that time, there's a lot of, more audiophile and there's all different types of pressings and different companies that make different pressings of the studio records. Some are made from the digital files, some are made from the analog tapes, and I'm not really that too hip or into most of that stuff. So this is not a rare or valuable record. It's just valuable to me, based on the story of when I bought it and why I bought it, because vinyl was being thrown away. Here's Led Zeppelin 2, same thing, still sealed, never been opened. Okay. These are all, again, common records. I can't show you the insides because I've never opened them. And again, they're all in pretty much excellent plus to near mint condition. Here's Led Zeppelin 3. And again, all of these have all the functioning cardboard cutouts. This one has the functioning pinwheel. The later pressings of that, this didn't work. It was just an artwork. It was expensive for record companies to make all the moving parts and all the die cuts and stuff. But this particular record, when I bought it, they were still producing it that way. So here's Led Zeppelin 3. Back of the album. We have Led Zeppelin 4, the one with Stairway to Heaven on it that most people know. Again, never been opened, still sealed. Little bit of ring wear up here, but I mean, from sitting in the bin all those years, but it's never been played. We also have Houses of the Holy. Again, and I bought all of these records pretty much on the same day. I cleaned out the place. Okay, again, never been opened. Really good record, great album. Then we have the famous Physical Graffiti. Now this is not a sealed record, but I bought it for $8. It's not a sealed record, but it's the original pressing in almost mint condition where all the cutouts, all the die cuts, everything works, all the moving windows, all the inserts are there. I never played the record, but the vinyl looks as clean can be. I stuck it in the plastic sleeve here and have never opened it since. So it's not an actual sealed copy. I wasn't able to find one. Today you could probably find one, but to find one completely sealed, never opened, they're expensive. And this is good enough for me. We have the Presence record, again, never been opened. Again, paid $6.98 for it in that store at that time. Again, a little bit of ring wear, just a little bit, but the record's never been opened, it's never been played. We have the In Through the Outdoor in the paper bag. Now I only have one version of this. If you know about this album, the inner cover, which had the man in the bar, there were like 6 or 7 different versions of that cover, which can be collectible. People try to collect all 6 or 7 In Through the Outdoor versions with a different artwork on the inside. I never really got that crazy about it, to be honest. I'm not that hardcore of a collector, at least with this stuff. But here's one version of it again. It's been sealed, it's never been opened and never been played. And then lastly we have, or second to last, we have Coda. This is a used one. This is not a sealed one. I paid $15 for this at a record convention. I just wanted to buy one that was in really good condition, and this is in really good condition. The plastic's a little dusty here, but it's in very good condition. It's been played, but it looks like it's very clean. I've never played it. Again, the corners and everything in really, really good shape. And then we have The Song Remains the Same, the live version. Again, this is not a sealed one. There is a little bit of ring wear here. This is, I think, my original record that I played, when I got this as a kid. So this was something that I owned. I had bought brand new, but had used it and played it. And there's the back of that. And then I have several versions of this. This is only one version of it. Okay, so that's all the kind of the commercial releases. Now let's get into a handful. I have a handful of some vinyl bootleg stuff or import stuff. The first one I have here is called A Tribute to Johnny Kid and the Pirates. Again, this was $10 when I bought it at a record convention. It's not very rare. You can get this, but I bought this just for the cover. It's a really cool cover, really cool artwork. Again, in really excellent shape. Little bit of ring wear here, but in really great shape. And this is about, I think this is the rehearsals. This is from the final rehearsals for the 1975 US tour. And the acoustic rehearsals were at the Brongniart Cottage in 1970. So that's kind of cool. So these are rehearsals. And again, I bought it more or less for the artwork. I just love the artwork. I did open this. I did play this once when I first bought it, put it back in its thing, and that's it. Sound quality, from what I can remember, is pretty good for a bootleg. This is another one I bought strictly for the artwork. This is the new Yardbirds. Some people may not know, when Led Zeppelin first got together, after the Yardbirds kind of disbanded, Jimmy Page they needed to fulfill some concert dates. So the first set of concerts that Led Zeppelin came to play were billed as the New Yardbirds. I think there was only a handful of those in late 68, 69. And here is, I bought this just because it says the New Yardbirds on it, and that is about as cool of a photo as you can get. And this is from like 1975, 77, this photo. This is not a 68 photo, but it's a killer photo. And again, this is, again, really cool artwork here. And this is recorded April 26, 1969. There were 3 songs, and then June 27th, 1969, 3 more songs. These were all recorded at the Winderland and London's Playhouse for the BBC. Pretty cool, again, for the artwork. Not very rare. Again, you could buy this. I've seen this on eBay. You can get it. But again, it's in pretty darn good condition. This here is a record that I got at a record convention, and I don't even remember where it's from. But it looks like by the set list, it's probably from about 1970, 71, because the Immigrant Song's on here, and that's from Led Zeppelin 3. So I'm not even sure what the venue was. Again, I think I bought this at a record convention for like $7. I've never played it. I thought it was a cool picture. I stuck it in the jacket and just held on to it. This is a vinyl interview. A 1972 interview with the band. This is $55 at a record convention. Talks a little bit about the interview on the bottom here. I don't even know. Yeah, it's a picture disc, if I remember right. Yeah, it is. So it's a picture disc. So this is kind of cool. So we have Plant on one side. Can I listen to this once and put it right back? Led Zeppelin. That's probably why I bought it, for that alone, just because it looks cool. And again, I probably should put this in a better sleeve. This is just in some plastic sleeve. I should probably attend to that. But I've listened to that, I think, one time, way back when I first bought it, and that's it. Again, it was $50 at a record convention. Again, I've never seen this anywhere else before, but it wouldn't surprise me if you could find this stuff online today. This, again, I bought for the artwork. This is a box set. This is nothing more than a CD inside of this box set. It's an interview CD. I just bought it because I like the artwork on the box, and it's got a little CD in here. And I don't even know when it's a limited edition of 500, supposedly. Is it really? Who knows? But again, at the time, I bought this at a local record shop. I remember buying this, and this is a limited edition box set. This is down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And I liked the box. I liked the artwork. It said it was limited edition, so I picked it up. It was $20. Okay, now we have, this is just something I thought was interesting. I found at a record convention, paid $3 for it. Stairway to Heaven, the dance mix, which I've never listened to, by the way. I just thought it was kind of neat. So it's the dance mix of Stairway to Heaven. I should probably listen to that. Thought it was a cool odd end to have. Then I have the Jimmy Page soundtrack from Lucifer Rising. Again, not very rare, but I just thought it was cool to have. I probably got this for next to nothing. Has a lot of cool pictures of Jimmy Page and, his castle where he lived at and such. It says this is a number 100. Again, I don't know if it's a limited number run. I don't remember, to be honest. This is another one I think is in a paper sleeve. I really should change that and put the nice sleeve on it. But this has, had a little bit of a insert here. And then the record itself, and I believe this is blue vinyl, if I remember right. Yeah, that's why I must have bought this, because it's blue vinyl. It's real thin. It's not, a repress. This is an original press. So, but again, I got it in this really crappy sleeve. I really ought to put that in a better sleeve. So some of these things I've just had for so many years, I just don't even remember, when I bought them, why I didn't change out the sleeves. I must have just forgotten. But that's a cool record as well. And it's blue vinyl. Again, I don't know how rare it is. I'll have to research that. The blue vinyl might be rare, but the soundtrack I know isn't. So that is the vinyl stuff. Now we're going to get into the box sets. I have a handful of box sets. Again, none of this stuff is really rare. It's all stuff that you can buy. But I just thought it was cool to have. And so I picked it up. It's part of the collecting for me. So I'm going to get rid of these and get rid of these. So the first one is the Song Remains the Same box set. Now this is not the Super Deluxe box set that just came out about 3 or 4 months ago. That's about $250. I don't know if I'm going to get that. But this is all the albums that was remastered. all cleaned up. Really nice. Has the nice booklet, the original booklet that came in, you know, with all some pictures and the whole kind of story behind The Song Remains the Same. Really nice booklet with all kinds of cool photos. And then it has the 4 albums. Again, you know, this is, you know, with all the symbol on each one. Again, I put them in the nice sleeves. And these are 180 gram vinyl. So this is relatively new. And from what I've read, which kind of disappoints me a little bit, on all the things I'm about to show you now, that I was under the impression when I first bought these were made from the original analog tapes. Apparently not. Apparently from what I read, and again, I could be wrong, if somebody knows, leave a comment below, that these are actually the digital files that they were made from. High-res digital files nevertheless, and this was under all supervision of Jimmy Page and, you know, his team. But that's kind of disappointing. So they say it, you know, could have sounded better. I think it sounds fantastic. I've listened to this a bunch of times. It sounds great. I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm an audiophile, but I'm not that much of an audiophile. Again, just to have the box set with the 4 albums in it, which is kind of cool. Now the new Super Deluxe box set that just came out has the 4 albums, plus it has, I think, the DVDs of the show, all in one package. Whereas I have this and then I have the DVD separately. And again, this has all the songs on it that was not part of the original release of The Song Remains the Same. Back in the 70s and even up until recently, and I think I mentioned this in the last video, Celebration Day wasn't part of the movie when it came out. Misty Mountain Hop wasn't. The Ocean was not. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So there's songs on here that were not part. Oh, Misty Mountain Hop, I didn't mention that. That wasn't there as well. So this has the entire show, apparently, on here. And this was, again, all produced by Jimmy Page, mixed by Kevin Shirley, which does most of the Zeppelin stuff. So that's The Song Remains the Same box set. This is a very cool box set. Again, nothing rare about this, but this is the complete BBC sessions. And we talked in the last video about having that on CD. That was one of the really cool things to have, was to have the BBC sessions when, you know, when I was first collecting in the 90s, to get that because the sound quality was fantastic. It was expensive and hard to find back then. Now you can get the whole thing, which is cool, but it's like, you know, God only knows what I spent on that CD. But this is a very cool set. I mean, I gotta say, Jimmy Page did a great job with just the artwork and just the presentation of these box sets are beautiful. So inside here, this has, what, 4, 5 albums here. I'm not going to go through all the track listings. And each one of these has a beautiful, beautiful print of the bands on high quality paper. This is a fold out of all the credits of where these shows were recorded. This is all live. And then we have a booklet in each one of these box sets, which is really, really cool. And then here's the albums. And here's the second album. Again, I put it all in the nice sleeves. It's all black vinyl, not colored vinyl. But just look at the pictures and just the photos are just amazing. And the sound quality is spectacular, I think. I mean, really cool live photos of the bands. Again, this is really cool. Really, really cool box set. Really enjoy this one. Again, you can buy this anywhere. I think you can also buy it with colored vinyl if you want a more rare copy of it. This is just a standard one. And then the last LP here. So this is a 5 LP set in a really nice box. Again, if you want some real cool, great sounding, old, early Zeppelin, this is the one to have, for sure. Again, the photo. Again, everything is in perfect condition. I'm really, really, you know, careful and very protective of this stuff when I take them out to play them. I'm really gentle with them. They're not sealed, obviously, but I try to keep the boxes in really good shape without dinging up the corners and everything else. The next box that I have here is How the West Was Won. This has come out, I don't know, maybe within the last few years. It's brand new to me. This is this came out on CD when the How the West Was Won DVD pack came out several years ago. Well, here's the vinyl for that now. And this concert is from, like, I think 1972. Sounds fantastic. A great early 70s version of it. And this is the Super Deluxe Edition, which has the 4 CDs, the 4 LPs, and then a really cool booklet. Again, I'm not going to open up each one of these and show you everything, but just to show you, here's, like, you know, one of the prints from it. Just again, really great presentation. And each one of these box sets, and again, I don't think this is colored vinyl. We can check out, here's the booklet for it. I mean, a really well-made booklet with really cool photos in there. I don't think this is colored vinyl. I think this is black vinyl. I'll just double check that. I think it is. Let me just double check to see if there's something really cool. Yeah, these are just regular black vinyl. Again, all in the rice patties, rice paper sleeves. And again, everything in if not absolutely pristine condition, very, very, very close to pristine condition. Really cool 1972 show. I think it's from California. If you want a really great 70s concert of Zeppelin live where you don't have to go out and find bootlegs, this is the one to have. Really cool box set. This is here, this is Celebration Day. This is the vinyl box set from the O2 where they did the reunion concert with Jason Bonham on drums, the last full set of Led Zeppelin in a recording. Again, this is a really cool box set. It's all kind of the same kind of packaging where you have a booklet and then you have the whole show. A lot of people don't like this. I thought they played spectacularly that night. I really enjoyed that concert a lot, but this is a really cool set to have. A lot of people prefer and compare it to the old 70s versions of the songs. And although they were pretty true to most of the songs, you know, again, they're a lot older now. I mean, they're not the same band they were in 1975, and John Bonham's not there, even though Jason Bonham did a fantastic job. A lot of people knock this, they compare it to the early stuff and say, well, it's not the old Zeppelin. Of course it's not. They were in their 60s at this point. But, you know, again, the video is fantastic as well. Love that show. So that is the 4 box sets. Now, the last things I'm going to show you here is all the Super Deluxe box sets for all the original albums. Okay, now these again are a beautiful package. You can buy these still on Amazon. They're about 100 to 130 bucks a piece, depending on which one you buy. I bought them all in brand new condition to make sure that they were as mint as possible. And this is Led Zeppelin 1. All of them come with, again, I got the Super Deluxe box set, which comes with the albums and the CDs and the download cards for if you want to digitally download them, and all the booklets. Now again, from what I understand, these are not made from the analog tapes. These are made from digital files, which is kind of a bummer. You would have thought that Jimmy Page would have done these from the analog tapes. But anyway, every one of the box sets for each one of the albums, and I have them all come with this wonderful book in letters and contracts and things that you just don't see. A lot of rarities here. I bought this basically for the book. The Super Deluxe box set has the book. You can buy just the albums or just the CDs or combinations of these packages, but you don't get this beautiful book. Each one of these books is like 70 to 80 pages long, and there's a lot of really cool, you know, little tidbit information, old photos, just really, really cool. The book itself, to me, is worth the price of admission. And then every one of these, you know, here's just for Led Zeppelin 1 that had a press kit with their original press photos, which is really cool. The original press photo from 1969. Again, none of this stuff is super rare, but the packaging is beautiful. And even the contract, you know, this is the Atlantic Records, you know, the original from, you know, announcing Led Zeppelin 1, and just really, really cool memorabilia. Again, nothing real rare, nothing that's so highly collectible that you can't get. You can get this anywhere, but I find it really cool. And then every one of these Super Deluxe box sets not only comes with the original album, all on 180 gram vinyl, you know, the original jackets and everything. This is, you know, I showed you this earlier, but this is the one that I actually play in pristine condition. But it also comes with what they're calling a companion disc. And a companion disc is a lot of the rarities, a lot of the outtakes, alternate mixes of the songs. Some of them, this one I think is 2 discs. Yeah, this has 2 albums inside of here, where there's different versions of the songs, different mixes, and every one of these Super Deluxe box sets that I'm about to show you have the companion audio, which is really cool. Again, I bought this more for the companion audio than the original album, because I've already heard the original album, but to hear all the outtakes and stuff is really, really cool. Every one of them comes with a print, which is really nice. Like I said, the digital download card if you want to download these things, the high-res audio, and then the CDs, which I've kept sealed in these little compartments. Didn't open those. So again, these I don't listen to all the time, but every now and again, and this is what I listen to. And again, I think they sound great. You know, again, the audiophiles out there will say oh, there's better sounding stuff, it's not the best pressing and all that, and that I'm sure is all absolutely true. But for me personally, this stuff is just great the way it is, you know, and it is a collectible item. Not very collectible now, but at one point these will be highly collectible, especially if they're in great condition. Because the thing with these things, the boxes are very delicate and they get dinged up very easily. So you got to be really careful with the boxes. So that's Led Zeppelin 1. Here is Led Zeppelin 2, the second record, again in a nice brown case like the album to match the color of the original record. And again, has this little telling you about the whole box set and what's in it. The book, a little dirty on there. And then again, same as before, you have a print, and all these are, the prints are all numbered. 30,000, I think, looks like the amount that they've made. The first 30,000 got these prints in them. This is version 4,700, so it's a fairly low number. So that's pretty cool, I guess. And then the original record is in here, and then the companion audio as well. Again, you could probably see full YouTube videos, reviews on each one of these, looking at it in a little more detail. But I just want to keep this video as, you know, short as possible, but I want to give you some detail. Here's Led Zeppelin 3 in a beautiful white cream color box. Looks just gorgeous. Again, really cool. All the same things. Now the book is white in this one. This is a very cool one. You know, really, really nice. Again, this is a print. I have, out of 30,000, I have print number 29,150. So I got one of the towards the end of the run there, which is kind of cool. And again, the original albums with all the working, you know, this is the working pinwheel. I'll try to get this to move here so you can see it. Again, just like the originals. Because for many years, these were made where these things didn't work. They were just there, but they didn't spin. So that's really cool that they redid that. Very, very cool record. Very cool record. And again, the companion audio, the digital downloads, and the CDs. So that is Led Zeppelin 3. Okay, what do you think is going to be next? Yes, you guessed it, Led Zeppelin 4. Again, in this nice kind of grayish color material to kind of match the album a little bit. Again, same thing. Nothing's really different here. Again, all these packages are exactly the same. Nothing really out of the ordinary or special. Print number 27,000 out of 30,000. So again, getting towards the end of the run. But again, all the original record, the gatefolds, everything is the same. Now these papers that you see me stuffing in the top here, these were on the back of the thing under the cellophane when I first opened them. So I just to save them, I kind of stuck them in there. Okay, now we have Housed of the Holy in this kind of burnt orange color, which is beautiful. Really cool. I don't need to open this. You've already seen it, right? Then my favorite Led Zeppelin record, the one that got me into Led Zeppelin and playing guitar and that whole thing, I said that in part 1, Physical Graffiti. And this is really cool. This has got, I think, 4 or 5 albums in it because there's a lot of companion audio, a lot of outtakes. This was a double album when it was released. Nice brown book. Again, the original records with all the moving, you know, the little windows and all the inserts. There were a lot of inserts in this. Very expensive to do this stuff. But this was kind of the cool stuff. I don't want to ding it up by trying to get it to move. But we have this, the original record, the companion audio. This was print number 11,000 out of 30,000. And again, all the other stuff we talked about with the CDs underneath here. So I think this is a double disc. No, this is only 1 disc of companion audio, one vinyl. But so this is a 3 album set. But I just love that album cover. Great album cover. Great book. Like I said, the book itself is worth the money of it for the set, I think. After Physical Graffiti, we're going to jump right to In Through the Outdoor. Now you may be asking yourself, if you're someone who knows Zeppelin, say, hey, where's Presence? I don't have the Presence box set. The reason why I don't have it, as of the recording of this video, actually tomorrow, June 16, 2019 is Father's Day, and my wife bought it for me. My wife and my daughter bought it for me for Father's Day. So it's wrapped upstairs. I can't open it yet, so I can't show it to you, but they knew my daughter, my 9-year-old daughter, wanted to buy it for me for Father's Day, which is so cool. So I do have presents. It's the same box set, but as I'm sitting here right this moment, I don't have it in front of me. But the In Through the Outdoor, again, has the paper bag, which is in perfect condition. And then what's special about this one, it shows you all the different covers. Remember I said there were alternate covers for all of these. And so they have prints here as well with all the different covers that were available. So you get to see them all, which is kind of neat. And again, I have with the CDs and the download cards and the companion audio. The second vinyl of this, the outtakes and some of those is a very, very cool on this record. Instrumental versions, very cool. This one has one of the coolest outtakes, or what they're calling the companion disc, out of all the sets, I think. And look at the bag. The bag is in absolutely mint condition. You know, try to find this original album where the bag wasn't all torn apart. You can't find it. Really cool. Very, very, very cool. And then again, the book. And then the last one that I have here is something I just got recently, which is Coda. This is another one that's got some really cool outtakes and different pieces of audio in it on the second disc in this nice hunter green color. Just, again, wonderful job. The original record, the companion disc. This is one of my kind of a really cool cover. I always love this cover. It's got kind of the raised embossed lettering. Here again is the print, one of the prints for it, which is really nice. This one is print number 15,485 out of 30,000. Probably can't see that on the bottom of the camera. And then again, the CDs and everything else. So again, these things, like I said, they're not rare. They're not, worth a lot as far as from a collectability point of view because they're widely mass produced right now. But I just like the set. I just love to have the full box set, to have all the albums. Again, I'll have presents tomorrow. But those are my Led Zeppelin box sets, and that kind of concludes the video of the Led Zeppelin vinyl that I have. Again, I don't have a ton of vinyl now. I do have some new vinyl coming in as well. I'm going to do a follow-up video as I started to break out this collection and started to now show it to you. I started to get the bug to buy some stuff, and as I went through my collection and saw some things that I'm missing, I've actually made some purchases on eBay and some other places. So I'm going to have probably a follow-up video in another month or two showing you some of the new stuff. One of the things that I did pick up as I was talking about with the vinyl being made from the digital copies and not necessarily the analog tapes, there's a record label that I found out about through doing research on YouTube. You can search this yourself if you're interested. There is a record label house, Classic Records, that makes, for a lot of bands, it makes more, they say is some of the best sounding pressings that you can find, where they sound dead quiet and fidelity-wise and stuff, they sound amazing. Now, they're expensive. I picked up 2 Led Zeppelin records, audiophile grade as they call them, from Classic Records. I got Led Zeppelin 1 and Led Zeppelin 3 coming in. Each one of those, and because I want to hear the difference between what I have in this stuff that's supposed to be head and shoulders sound quality wise above anything else that's ever been put out, and I want to kind of test that. So I picked up 2 of them. Each one of those are about, I think, $120 per record. And so I'm going to play them and kind of do a comparison, and I'll let you know in that video after I've listened to them. Do they really sound that much better than the originals? Not that you would go out and, you could buy the original vinyl for $20 versus $170 or $50 for an album, or $20 for an album. But I don't know, if they sound that good, that might be something I might acquire over the next couple of years, maybe to try to get all of their records on that particular label, again, as a collector's piece. Down the road, those are going to become very highly collectible. They're starting to raise in price. They used to be much less expensive, but they're no longer around. So if you can find them, they'd be cool to pick up if you're a collector, if you have the budget to do so. So that is my vinyl collection of Led Zeppelin. The next video, we'll probably take a look at tour programs and books. So thanks so much for joining me. Leave your comments below and let me know if you have a Led Zeppelin collection, or what band do you collect, and did you find this stuff fun? And if you have any questions or any pieces of information you want to add to some of the dialogue that I mentioned, I'd be glad to read about it. I'm always interested to talk to people about this stuff that's really into this. So thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.